back and take the next 2 games, while Supermassive has looked dominant, their game earlier today also wasn't flawless. They did fall behind in the early game. They gave away a pushing lane in the Karma. They also had themselves, a slightly poor matchup with Na going into Gangplank. So I think if you can attack the laning phase, you can open something up here.
And we'll see if the draft sets up Direwolves to do so, as we already are 5 bans in. Thresh taken away from Snowflower, Skarner Rise, a bit more standard meta power. Kha'Zix and Kai'Sa standard as well.
And I can nearly guarantee that these 2 teams are the most prepared for each other today, because Supermassive would have come in and said, we only have to beat the Direwolves. We knock them down, no one else can catch us, it will be absolutely fine. And the Direwolves would have been thinking, the other 2 games, we have them on ice. We got to take it to Supermassive. So I am not surprised to see these bans come through relatively quickly, although Supermassive do kind of draw out that last one, debating whether they do go for the Camille. And they did in the end, and that leaves open
Rakan, which is kind of the standard powerhouse that we've seen across this tournament meta, right? Rakan has been so good in just about every game that's been played. Even when it's been on a losing team, it's looked powerful.
And I am so excited for this, and for the opposite reason people would think, because I finally am going to see Rakan go up against a powerhouse bottom lane in Zeitnot and Snowflower, and I expect it to get punished by something, like a Leona, like a Morgana. They're already looking towards a Caitlyn Dracos. This could be bad for our feathered friend in the bottom lane.
And regardless of how Rakan does, Gangplank in the top lane for Fab Fabulous. Not only has Gangplank been strong in the tournament, Fab Fabulous has been incredible on this champion. Direwolves, and Chippies particularly, might be in a bit of hot water here if he can't find a solid pick into this lane.
Absolutely, and the big thing for me is Fab Fabulous plays global champions, only has a 60% KP in this tournament. However, his damage percentage is so ridiculously high. He's up there near the 26% mark. For relativeness, GBM only does 21% of his team damage because this guy is an absolute powerhouse, and you got to remember that's with 2 Shen games.
So incredible to see. Even in the Shen game, it felt like he was having that carry-style impact, zoning people out of fights, being a relevant threat. And Chippies, once again, going for the Aurelia. I feel like this is going to be a difficult matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be a carry versus carry, but I think this is more in Chippy's wheelhouse. He doesn't like playing tanks. He likes the volatility of the matchup. And what I'm happy with the Direwolves is this is something they did a lot during the OPL regular season. Pick your solo lanes. Do not let them get banned out. King and Cupcake, they play very deep champion pools. They generally play utility. Get your carries locked in, and then try and put in that work early to set them up for success.
And of course, now as we see the bottom lane coming together for TCL, the Morgana combined with the Caitlyn, it has been a powerhouse in playoffs. It was an answer to the Xayah Rakan shown in both NA and EU. Xayah now banned away as well, so King, a lot of those power picks being taken away from him.
Yeah, he wants to play Varus anyway, most likely. Also plays a mean Ezreal. He does play some cheesy things as well when he gets the situation to be able to do so, like Vayne, but I don't expect to see that today. Hitting on the Morgana Kate lane, both the AD carry and the support in this situation outrange so significantly. If you put the 3 points into the E of the Black Shield for Morgana, nullifies so much of that aggression, and Kate can start marching forward, mowing down lanes, and really starting to put pressure on turrets. But that means Stomaged also has to run a jungler that can have some proximity to bottom lane. Because what you have to remember is there's only one Black Shield. If Shern is on a ganking jungler as well, if he picks up something like the Zac, which is available, he can still get down there and impact Zeitnot and Snowflower, and Caitlyn without Flash early game sucks. It's not a good pick at all, so we'll see whether that is a possibility.
The potential to get all in is definitely there, and we've seen a lot of these lanes falter. The Black Shields haven't been on point, but Twisted Fate coming in. You want a jungler who can show up on the bot side? How about a mid laner too, Spawn?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that is just reading the Direwolves playstyle like a book, because they were looking for some gank setup down there. And I think TF does nullify some of that. However, in saying that, he does take a little bit to get rolling at the moment. He'll probably go towards a Catalyst Protector for a Rod of Ages or something along those lines. GBM, a historic TF player. But in saying that, in the OPL, there are lots of TF players actually that still run around the server. So certainly a pick that Triple would be very familiar with.
And the question is, what has he got up his sleeve to counterpick this or to set his team now up for success? The Vlad already locked in. Will that get committed to the mid lane as an okay matchup, or will they pick something else?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have
jungler,
seen
what we're looking for.
Well,
here.
the other thing is we have seen Aurelia in solo queue at least a little bit flirt with that mid lane position. We'll see whether that is something that comes out. I'm just trying to
I
get you out
appreciate
of
you're
your
trying
own
to
hole,
save my skin.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I appreciate you trying to dig me out.
And Chippies does play Vladimir. Vladimir is a great matchup, actually, into Gangplank in the top lane. However, as I said, it's most likely going to be Ezreal Zach. They're locked in already. And this is something, like this composition to me, if you put the Camille as opposed to the Aurelia, it's something the Direwolves have run a ton.
And
strong four-man core with a split-pushing top lane is legitimately their bread and butter.
And we've seen as well how good Schernfire can be on the Zac when he gets going, how he can set his lanes up for success. But now we look at the opposite side, Supermassive, getting their hands on that Trundle. I think one of the unsung power picks of this tournament in the jungle. Schernfire may just struggle early on.
And I don't think it's unsung. I just think it's one of those like linear, and I say this in the nicest way, slightly boring thematic champions, because a lot of what his kit is the pillar and the ultimate. I mean, his W and his Q outside of early game may as well not exist as the team fights occur. The pillar just is going to stop so much of the engage coming out of Shern, coming out of Cupcake. And then the ultimate, especially because there's only one solo tank, is going to completely strip the Direwolves of resistance-based team fighting. So if Shern does not pick his moment well, this game could go very badly.
And now I want to know, what are we looking for from both of these compositions? I can see how a lot of the individual lanes are going to shape up, but the teams, what do they want to play towards? How do they want to play out this match?
Yeah, much like the Laser from the Sky comp that was run by Gambit, this comp is all about getting into the bottom lane. You got globals out of TF, you got the global out of the Gangplank, as well as the pillar to set it up. They want to get down there and punish King and Cupcake more than they did in game one, and they took a 6-minute turret, so they're looking to accelerate the game. At the same time, Direwolves, their 1-3-1 is exceptional. Their team fight is relatively good. Slow the tempo of the game down. Get to 30 minutes. Get to 3 items and try and beat Supermassive at what they're strong at, but what your team comp does incredibly well.
Gonna have to find out how well they can play and how can they execute here in the early game. It's been a struggle for just about everybody up against Supermassive. Such a calculated and collected team here at the play-in stage, mid-season invitational. Now as we get into game, Direwolves on the blue side, Supermassive on the red. We're going to answer so many questions, Spawn. First one I want to hit, Rakan. Potentially vulnerable. You've been hating on it all tournament long, Spawn.
And people are probably confused because they're like, what are you talking about? Spawn's such a positive, upbeat guy. Well, that's on camera, people. Back in the castle room. I just look at this champion, I think, how is it getting through so many situations of the game unscathed? There are answers to it. And I think that Zeitnot and Snowflower are actually the best duo lane that we have seen so far at MSI. And I'm incredibly interested to see how it goes.
Well, now they're going to take up home in the mid lane. Oh, Pool's out, just barely going to make it out to safety. The trap could have been death there for Triple, but not how he wanted to start.
And you're like, oh, gosh, like he got away from the gank. Well, he also had to max out the W first, so that is not going to be a fun level 1 laning phase. GBM should have complete control over that.
Doesn't even get to take the tides of blood, just going to be stuck, getting pushed out.
But one thing I will say is now King and Cupcake get the push because we saw Trap picked up as well as Dark Binding. So no Piltover Peacemaker going to be available. No Puddle to drop on the caster creeps. So that bottom lane push out is going to be much slower than it normally is.
And one thing I do want to hit on is that we saw in the previous matchup here that this was pretty close, pretty back and forth for a lot of the game. A very even game. Did explode in the favor of Supermassive. It feels like it always does as they get later in the game, but this time you did say that Direwolves are set up, if they could go even into the mid to late game, to play out that 1-3-1.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that that was my read on Supermassive, and I think that will be a lot of teams' read, is that they don't really try and punish early game all that hard. They will let you get to where you go to. They do have great reactive plays, but not all that many proactive plays. And I think this is one of those interesting situations where the Direwolves certainly drafted towards that and are trying to pick up some form of teamfight presence. Triple, just pull under him or something, dude. Come on, gotta give me more than that.
So hard, Spawn. You're watching this Vladimir try to auto-attack his way into the lane phase. GBM just knows he has his way until Triple gets a few more levels under his belt. Now, finally, he might be able to strike back, but it's too little too late. GBM already got the push, and Triple just forced under that tower early on. Not at all what the Direwolves wanted.
And that was super interesting out of GBM, because he had the choice of picking up maybe something like an E and holding the wave, continuing to harass out, but obviously values the vision of topside river. He knows that Gangplank could be a little bit susceptible to a gank at this stage of the game, so they're trying to track exactly where Shern is. Not through deep vision, but just through those 2 shallow wards in the river right now, trying to keep Fabulous safe.
Shern may set up for the gank here, see if Fab wants to push
a big creep
a little
wave.
bit more. It'll be tough to fight it, as you mentioned, but Schernfire is going in. Not going to connect there. Stretching strikes miss out. Fab is just sitting comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he's shown now immediately. Domage goes into the bottom side jungle, gets a nice deep ward on that red buff. He can start up the dragon, which is an air. I just love how Supermassive play the map. They're just playing towards their opponent. And Chippy's is in a world of hurt right now.
This is not at all what they wanted. And of course, in the meantime, Stomach going to get the Cloud Drake free, uncontested, as they know the jungler is topside. And Spawn, we've been talking a lot about Gangplank and how strong this pick has been over the course of the tournament. And I think we were a little concerned. Rakan got locked in, traded for it, and already things are looking a little bit rough. Fabulous is so comfortable in that laning phase, and with GP being an absolute terror, it's pretty uncomfortable experience.
Oh, he's actually going to pick up
first blood. God, first blood. Trial by fire, the parlay proc as well. I couldn't have asked for a better moment to tell you that GP is a strong champion.
Absolutely, and the thing about GP, since people started going back towards a Grasp of Undying, is a strong laner. If you can force him back before Sheen, and you can pick yourself up maybe another Doran's Blade something, although Shern looking mid lane.
Thought Stretching Strike comes in. Gold card gonna be already a moment, does fall off, but Flash Out will take him to safety immediately. The engage comes in, but that's the kind of punishment you were talking about.
And I promise you that this will be the beginning of an E max, at least for a couple of points from Snowflower, because you can see straight away he's just reading the play. He knows when Cupcake wants to go aggressive. He backs off, gives the Dark Shield to Sight Knot, and he turns around and returns actually more damage.
We can take a look at this one more time, but Chippy's...
Yeah, was looking for the stun so he could secure himself those creeps, and then immediately Trial by Fire comes back up. This is just going to be a grass puller into a flash Q. Oh, actually, it was a flash auto. There we go.
So procs Trial by Fire, resets Trial by Fire, waits for the bone plating to fall off too. So just everything that could have gone wrong for Chippy's there went wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's one of those situations where maybe an Oceanic top laner wouldn't have punished Chippy's as hard. So he thinks, you know what, I can get these 3 creeps, I'll get myself a free reset. In reality, he just needs to go back. This is just getting ugly everywhere, Dracos. I'm starting to want to close my eyes a little bit.
It's
and play
grim.
out a different game of League of Legends.
Direwolves aren't out yet, but you can already see a 10 CS difference on the bottom side. Ezreal not even set up to catch a wave here. Luckily has Klepto. Maybe he can balance out a little bit, but GBM already starting to look for those roams, ready to lay down that vision.
I think he was actually just checking whether Rift Scuttle had been picked up, because he needs to know first ultimate, which he's about to get. Am I going top? Am I going bottom? Well, my bottom lane is pushing a little bit too hard for me to have impact right now. Let's see, maybe we can keep Chippy's Aurelia down a little bit. Oh, Rift Scuttle is there. We're not going to have an immediate level 6. Or maybe something fancy happens where he recalls, comes out of base, and tries to attack that top lane.
I want to see, where does it go? What is the map movement going to look like for Supermassive? We talked about a lot relying on the early game, potentially playing around the bottom side of the map, but both bottom and top are going so well already. Now, mid lane, interestingly, GBM suffering a little bit in CS here in the Twisted Fate versus Vladimir match, even after the pool start, but Chippy's overstaying his welcome. Here comes the Twisted Fate. Not a whole lot of ways out of this. Nope. Taken down in the end. 2 kills over to Supermassive, and so far, it's just clinical.
Yeah, absolutely, and the big thing for me is that they're going towards Fabulous's lane right now, and Shern actually might be in some trouble here as well.
Fighting back and forth. Smite down. Homaged. Working through Shernfire's health bar pretty nicely. Shernfire looking for a few more cooldowns. Walking away. Gangplank ulti comes out as well, but will make it to safety. Does at least get that cooldown out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely, and this looks like they want to go for this fight. Misses a Tides of Blood.
Triple. Playing with fire here a little bit. Does manage to throw down the Ignite. The heal up coming through. Gets one. Fabulous debating on the pursuit here. Use that movement speed to make it out to safety, so at least a pick back on the side of the Direwolves.
Absolutely, and if there is a champion that can solo run over a game, especially when there's not all that many tanky people, it is going to be the Vladimir. Got to remember that we've seen this champion a couple of times already. Is going to be going for the Shurelya's rush. Actually, they go aggressive bottom.
Get out the Black Shield, but once again, just landing onto King. Cannot make it out to safety. This is just brutal. Snowflower is just a sniper on the bottom side, and King cannot catch a break.
Yeah, and if Snowflower had picked himself up that Ignite for the laning phase pressure, that probably would have been a kill. This is just so nicely played, and Chippy's, he kind of faked that he had warded. But then Stone Mage ran past and was like, well, he's not backing it off, so he obviously did not. Immediately Twisted Fate ult comes out, does it from the top side, because he knows there's no vision there. Very nicely played from everyone. And I mean, this is just Stone Mage thinking, without a top laner, we can get aggressive, but meanwhile, at bottom lane.
Already, you're going to see the Zac ultimate come in. Quick flash out from Stone Mage is going to back off. Shernfire protecting his jungle for now. Despite the aggression Stone Mage laid down earlier on and the assist, actually an XP advantage for Shernfire, the level 6. Very important in forcing out that flash, but still you can see King and Cupcake playing scared, because this is a Caitlyn classic spawn. Look at the health on that tower.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've continually pushed in. This is why I said it's not necessarily about killing them. They're going to look to countergate, and in they go one more time.
Just dodge out on the Dark Bonding. That could have been death for Cupcake. Instead, they're just going to focus down the tower, but Stone Mage may have overstayed his welcome. He wants it so bad, he's not going to get it. Tower stays alive for now. One more auto would seal the deal. But they're not in the position to follow up, and now Sight9 hungry for a kill. Also maybe overstaying. Needs to make his way out. Wants to get one on the Surnefire. The passive is down. Is this just going to be everything lost from the Direwolves in the end? The trap there as well. But when the reset does come out, they manage to get him. King could be next on the menu. One binding is all it would take. He's running for the hills, and it's not going to happen, but disaster strikes for the Direwolves there on the turnaround.
Absolutely, that was the best they were going to get. They kept their turret alive for one additional wave, and they did get a kill in response. That should have been a very fast reset, because that turret is one hit from going down. Instead, they try and get some kills and actually turn it into an advantageous situation. However, without ult coming out from Surnefire, there's absolutely nothing he can do. Zeitnot, Snowflower, they know exactly what their limits are on these champions. And now you've given away the maximum. You gave away 2 free kills, and the turret still fell. Solo kill gold going over to Zeitnot, 30 CS up. Dracos. I mean, Stomage here, he's just trying to get the turret. But this is where the hard reset should have been. Actually,
you're going to have to hold that thought, because instead GBM is the one trying to get something out of this. Pat moving in, he wants to get one. Chippies is down. Cupcake, and no damage on that Recon. They're going to
members rotating, however, this could potentially be them cut off. Already, that's Shirelius.
Triple on the hunt. Gangplank ult used to try to split him off. Fabulous setting up at the barrel, ready to take Triple out. He does get slowed down.
So they still go for it.
Still want to go with the flash forward. The chain CC. GBM is going to be able to get a stun card, but immediately the pool from Triple, and a Rakan is already out. Double for the Direwolves.
And this is the best case scenario. Yes, you were down. Put everything onto Triple. However,
here
now
comes Snowflower. The bot lane is merciless. They're just looking to play cleanup here. King's going to take a lot of damage, but will make it out to safety. And a red buff up Sight9 just continues to apply the pressure.
And King, that's your shutdown. Just tank this shot for him. If you fall, that's okay. You don't want to give any more gold over to Zeitnot.
And here comes the Trundle. The Zac is there too. It does not stop Spawn. These guys are looking to kill each other. And he gets the blue buff. Unstoppable. Pull back into the middle of the team. Ulti is there. He's going to start to heal up, but he doesn't have enough to survive yet. Oh, just barely trying to make it out, but cannot do it. Cupcake going to grab it in the end.
Yeah, certainly is, and I think that's a little bit of a mistake out of Cupcake. King needs a way to get back into this game. A kill plus double buffs certainly would have been that opening. However, that is very nice play out of the Direwolves. You have to be able to punish reckless aggression, and right there, that's the second time we've seen it out of Stomage, actually. They think they have a kill, they think there's a free invade on the table, and Surnefire punishes.
Stomage goes down again, a little bit disrespectful in the end, but honestly, you look at the gold difference, 2.2k for Supermassive, you can understand why he's playing so aggressive.
Can you? Because, I mean, the way you keep a gold advantage is by not doing stupid thing. However, this is a nice original outplay from Chippies, but GBM's ultimates have been on point. And at this stage, what actually really impressed me is watch Fabulous's barrel placements, because he's able to get that area choked off, big slow going down, throws out the second barrel to slow down Triple as well, and I actually thought this could have been their way out. Obviously, Triple with both summoner spells available as well as ultimate still feels like he can make the punish happen, and that's a very nice reaction play out of the Direwolves, but that's nearly everything Fabulous can do in his power to get out of it.
And of course, without the flash there, may have been a different story. Now we see the engage coming in on the bottom side. All the CC has already hit, but Zeitnot does a ton of damage onto Cupcake. He's going to fall in the end. Killing spree for the Caitlyn.
Yeah, absolutely. In the 2v2, they thought they had it. They finally thought that they had trapped him underneath the turret, and he was going to be chipped down, but with summoner spells still up, Churn once again trying to wave some magic.
Missing it though. Gold card from GBM. He just walks away. Not the kind of skill shots you can afford to miss, but Triple at least trying to get the punish.
I mean, that's a lot of damage coming out of that. That's one thing they need to be worried about. He's 40 CSR. Is 3-0-1. The map is falling around him. I mean, that is the last bastion of hope for all of Oceania right now.
Triple in the mid lane, because you can see everything else is a little bit of a struggle. Chippies does miss the ultimate there. Going to try to block what damage he can with the Defiant Dance, but that's just grim. Fabulous takes it down. Not a lot to say about that one. And as we check in on the rest of the map, Stomage, has he gotten over aggressive again? We're going to have to find out. Does get knocked up. Okay, taking his time here. May just be able to grab the Rift Trail. This would be a pretty big way for the Direwolves to get some gold back. Maybe start to go toe-to-toe here with Supermassive in terms of taking these objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing for me right now is get Chippies into the offside lane, get Triple up against Fabulous, because they're both nearly equally as fed as each other. Chippies, obviously, without that ultimate hitting, it looked worse than it was, but I think he still loses that 1v1. And your duo lane probably needs to go mid regardless. So the redeploy has been slightly late from the Direwolves. They're 4,000 gold in a hole. And it is starting to look pretty rough.
And you can see in the CS alone how big of a hole it is. Triple trying to dig them out as best he can. You already mentioned that. But earlier, when we were in the draft, You talked about Supermassive, hey, early game leads, playing around bot side. They've kind of been playing everywhere so far, but you told me even game for Direwolves, looking for that 1-3-1. Is this plan alive at all? Is there any way to salvage it at this point in the game, or do they have to adjust on the die?
Yeah, they really need to adjust. What it needs to become about, because there's a Caitlyn on the other end, they're going to lose turrets. It's about losing the minimum at every time and trying to trade cross-map. You know, we've seen it a couple of times when you've got a Gangplank before he picks up Hysterics. Maybe you can get your jungler down there and you can pick up a 2v1 kill while you lose a turret and pick up a big creep wave for chippies. They just need to be taking those kinds of trades and then hoping that at 30, 35-ish, maybe now, Triple can run into the backline and kill 3 people, and the other 4 people on his team can maybe clean up the other 2.
I feel like the more specific you make the scenario, the more clear it is that they're running out of options. That said, Fire wasn't for the vision. May have been able to find an opportunity there.
But the funny thing is that Vladimir is the one champion that I still think can do that. Because if you get the full combo off with the ultimate, it's not going to take all that much to get through GBM, to get through Zeitnot. This is not an AD carrier that's going to be building an X-Trick or something like that. And there is still hope.
Finding connects on the Triple. Trying to hold the pool for now. Cupcake trying to make his way up, but taking a lot of damage in the process. Triple, a lot of patience there. Stonemage not going to commit the pillar to try to take him out.
Yeah, he knew without the Ignite being on the enemy teams, they're not going to be able to take him down at this stage of the game. He's got the ultimate available, he's got the flash, as well as the pool still up, as you mentioned. So I like the fact that Supermassive actually didn't expend anything. Teleport going to come back in, they're trying to save this turret.
Comes the Zac, what's he going to accomplish on the back side? Looking to knock up at least one member, pulling it back. Morgana has been chained. CC will be pulled back under the tower. There's Triple going to look to pick up the kill, but it goes over to King in the end. AD carry has been locked down. Zeitnot run for his life. Caught between 3 members of the Dire Wolves, and that's the shutdown the Wolves needed.
And this is exactly what I said. The one member that can get into the backline and wreak havoc is going to be Triple. Well, Stonemage was too late on that pillar. Fabulous looking for this kill.
Ooh, good use of the auto attack to deny the barrel. That Fabulous still firing back here, not going to give up quite so easily. Big level advantage for that GP.
I do want to point out that he's also 1v3 right now, and he seems to be winning, which is a little bit alarming. And whilst I say that Vladimir can certainly take out a backline, Gangplank can do it without even putting himself relatively anywhere near it. But this is what I was talking about. If the pillar is right there, it's going to stop Shern's access to both of the carries. However, it isn't. Stonemage feels like he has to turn around and save this, and that means that Zeitnot continues to try and walk forward. It does unfortunately fall down, but that was a maximum that Direwolves could have taken right there.
Supermassive have been so diligent about the vision to deny those creative entrances from Zac, but they missed one, and Direwolves capitalize. Of course, Stonemage always in the right place, but has been a few executional errors in this game.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. That's what you got to tidy up. He's actually gone over-aggressive a couple of times, so not necessarily playing what his team wants to play. Get out of the jungle, get into lane, and make sure your pillars are on point. As I said, Zac's not the most Trundle's not the most entertaining champion to play, but when you play him perfectly, can deny all of the aggression that will come out of Direwolves. That's what he needs to start doing.
We'll see as we move forward what the options are for him. 3K gold deficit for the Direwolves. A little bit less than it used to be, but of course double clouds backing up Supermassive now.
You're such a negative man. How about a 3K gold advantage for Supermassive? How about we frame it that way?
Is this positive? Nice. One guy in the audience shouted no, for those who couldn't hear at home. And that's the third vote that we need. We go negative this time.
Tiebreaker, all right.
Of course. Tower going to go down to the mid lane. The chain CC, no. King, no chance to make his way out. Fire unstoppable, or he surely would have gone down as well. But the shutdown onto King, getting the killing spree just to give the gold away to Fabulous in the end. Grim for the Direwolves, but almost a 5K gold lead for Supermassive now.
Absolutely, and they're going to not stop right now. You can see 1-3-1 is still happening for the Direwolves. Rift Herald top lane, that's a 6-man, as well as Chippy's bottom lane. Potentially Shern going to look for this one.
Trundle's not here. We know that he's in the area. Cupcake looking for the knockup. Black Shield has now been used. It's a small window of opportunity, but Shern can look for it. However, the vision is there this time. Not going to get caught off guard on the side of Supermassive. In fact, Fabulous just goes back to farming in the side lane.
However, in saying that, Fabulous just got 3 creeps and 2 camps were taken for the Trundle. They 100% could have got that tier 2 if they had kept 5 members mid lane. So these are those things that right now, if you're the Direwolves, you think, whew, that could have been a little bit worse. Thank God they got a little bit greedy for some camps. Shern doesn't really need levels anymore. He just needs to be able to hit the engage. This Triple actually is top lane.
GBM. Not a lot of defensive tools in the TF kit. No mana as well. There should be a kill going down, but Stonemage is there, and they're going to burn the TP to make sure this does not happen. Starting to burn, starting to run. GBM with the gold cards, fast as he can on that Cloud Drake. The flash forward is locked up for now. Gonna look for the Crimson Rush, wants a little bit more healing from Triple. Can he make it out to safety? It's a good amount, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They're trying to cut him down. They are gonna get him in the end. One shot from the pistol does it. Shern dies on the backside, and Supermassive get everything they want in the turn.
And you can see King's being caught up as well. They probably could have committed for him as well. Maybe burn a flash, but this is what happens when you try and chase a loss, and another binding.
Connecting immediately. Can he make his way out of this one? I don't think he's got the options. He's trying. The CC is still there. Zaynot one more auto. Does he get it in the end? Snowflower. Chippy's on the backside, a chance potentially for him to redeem himself for earlier performances, but can't chase him down quite yet. And everyone on the Direwolves lineup just within an inch of death at any moment.
Yeah, and look at how many summoner spells they just burnt. They didn't really have to burn all that much in terms of map priority as well. This top lane still pushing in. It was at the turret. It's going to be another structure falling down. It's going to be the gold lead growing for Supermassive. And right now, this is when you start, you know,
and as
looking for desperate plays as Cupcake is.
Oh, Cupcake might try to find Zaynot. Zaynot is now set to fall. You talked about it. Small advantages. Supermassive, near flawless.
Yeah,
but near flawless isn't perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is what we've seen, is that GBM will go over aggressive, that potentially Stone Mage will go over aggressive. So give them the play and look for what the response is. You're going to have to play on the back foot. As long as you don't lose, you know, base structures by 25 minutes and you can get some form of vision on Baron, there is always a fool's hope. GBM actually reports out. It's a nice high percentage play. Didn't want to die.
Makes it out to safety, and I mean, here's the thing. Direwolves aren't just playing for themselves. They're not just playing for the OPL or Oceania. Everybody needs Direwolves to win this game to keep their hopes alive for making it further. Of course, Pentagram out, but there is still a chance for Kaboom. There is still a chance for Direwolves if Direwolves win here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that, you know, Brazilian fans and Oceanic fans have always got along relatively well. So they are teaming up right now to take down the Turkish overlords. See whether it does happen that way. There's going to be a fire drake. You don't want that to go over to Supermassive right now if you're the Direwolves.
Absolutely not. That Gangplank. You can see how much damage goes through the Shern fire. He needs to leap out, and because he can't leap in, that means no real contest options left.
And see, Dracos, this is a life lesson. That whilst you don't want that, you don't always get what you want. So they look at all the damage that come out and say, you know what? We're not going to give it to them. And then we say, you know, maybe we will. Maybe we'll just live to fight another day.
I like pitching this as an educational stream for life lessons. What can we learn here? You don't always get to play champions like Aurelia on the stage. Sometimes you have to accept the Gangplank is going to hurt you.
And right now, Direwolves are trying to learn as many of them they can on the fly to claw their way back into this game. Top lane turret will fall down. So this is, once again, another little window they can have a look at. They're going to peg it back to 6,000. Gold lead for Supermassive.
Of course, until Supermassive really start to break the base, Direwolves are always in a position to farm up, always in a position to stall out and wait till later in the game. And you talk about how important that Vlad can be on all these squishy members, so there is still that option, there is still that hope for the late game.
And you can see that right now, experience isn't getting out of hand, so it's merely a gold problem. I say that because when you go down gold and experience, you're actually just down so much, especially when it's around breakpoints of level 16. You can see mid lane is within half a level of each other, top lane within half a level of each other. So it is just items.
Now King running, does still manage to make it over the wall, but
Ooh, this is a big flank actually coming out.
They're baited on the Shern fire. Gonna use the ulti on the triple, though, want to lock him up. Already using the pool means he could just be in trouble. Pick a card will be up shortly, and in the meantime, GP is pushing on the bottom side of the map.
Chippy's already dead. Yeah. That's what I was pointing out, is I thought that was a big flank, and then somehow Chippy's fell down, and I was like, oh, this is... Even if they do get something here, it's going to take most of their time. That bottom lane turret's going to fall. Baron now becomes such a factor, and I think the triple burning Ghost there also means that he can't face Fabulous, because he's not going to be able to change out for a TP, so that death from Chippies has actually cost so much priority around the map for the Direwolves.
And this is looking disastrous now. He talked about breaking the base being a big opportunity. Well, the base is already broken open. GP continues to pressure. And the rest of the Direwolves know that they have to contest, but Supermassive happy to just push back and forth. Hey, you can stop the GP or you can stop us from taking Baron, but you're not going to stop both.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the King once again going to be going for that double tier build, so they are fully investing on the late game. Maybe something like Blade of the Ruined King would be a little bit more effective right now. However, once he picks up the Seraphs after the transformation, this is going to be potentially a team fight.
Has the flash, immediately going to lock up the Rakan. The cleanse out, though. Triple going to try to turn it back. It's three members. They're trying to get everything together. The Zach goes into the middle of the team. Snowflower's now in trouble so much. Zaynot so low, but he hasn't gone down yet. Triple able to take out Snowflower, but that's it so far. Enough sustain, keeps Triple alive. And a small win for the Direwolves comes through.
That is a 3v4 right there. That is how strong Triple is at this stage of the game. If the CC hits, he will be able to take them down.
Cupcake gonna lock up one more. Triple Flash to 41. Sight up, but he's not gonna get it. Stone Mage firing back with the kill. Chippy's a chance for redemption, but here comes Fat Fabulous. There's the CC. He cannot block enough. A dance of defiance, but a death in the end as the double drops.
And I just don't get it. They had the win there. They had picked up the kill. They had forced Fat Fabulous off the split push. They could have lived to fight another day. They could have scaled up with their comp, but they get greedy again, Dracos. They make that mistake, and that will give over Baron.
Disastrous for the team. Already an open inhibitor on the bottom side. Baron to fall as well. 3 Drakes. Supermassive putting on a master class. The last desperate attempt to steal as the ultimate comes out from King.
And now there is a timer on the game because you've got a superior split pusher. Actually, GBM just going to pick up King.
There you go. Bye-bye 80 carry. Bye-bye last little hope of wave clear. 40 seconds on that death timer. It is Triple, the sole source to stop these Baron creeps.
So that kill actually gives over nothing because they were going to recall and shop anyway. They just shop with a little bit extra money. So this is what I was talking about. They have already picked up the kill. They've forced the GP to go back. They don't hit Zeitnot in that CC, so he just turns around, gets all the CC out from GBM and does the damage in response. I feel like that was one of those situations where, once again, they got greedy. They misread the play. What they should be thinking is if Vladimir gets 6 items, we'll win this game. Not, hey, if we get a pick, we might be able to swing something in our favor. You got to be patient. You got to not rush the game plan. And you got to really only fight around Triple Summoner spells and his ultimate.
I mean, at this point, it's do that or die. They are 10k down. There's a Baron up against them. 3 Drakes. They've gotten away with it so far. It has not lost them the game yet, but I feel like one mistake at this stage of the game is just, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see one again. Once again, they're going for it.
Fire, they're going to try to take down the Trundle. Tankiest member of the team, though, still healing so much. Locked up as the Black Shield comes in. Zeitnot uncontested. There's the GP ult to split the team, and Chippy's has been left on his lonesome. Still trying to make his way out. Oh, there you go. Defiant Dance to block the damage there. But GP just breaking the base.
Yeah, that was a 3v5. While it's actually going to be GP top lane, GBM bottom lane, they're going to look to pick up some inhibitors.
He's going to get clipped by the True Shot Barrage. There's CC there to stop him from getting out, but he might just take a lap around the Nexus. He's buying time for the rest of the team to push in and break the mid lane. Does get knocked up, does get charmed. GBM now set to fall, but the rest of the team is here. GBM might make it out. Gold card, and he's just going to walk away. 2 inhibitors, or rather 1 inhibitor down, and 2 more set to fall.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see they use that time to just march a creep wave up mid lane, and that is a lot of damage coming out of a single red card, and King should be very afraid. And it looks like Supermassive, they don't want to muck around. They want to end this game right now and to clinch their spot.
They know what's on the cards. First place in their sights, sole possession, and no one's going to take it from them. Not the Direwolves, not Kaboom, not Pentagram. They're looking to lock it down. It's a slow, steady win coming through, but as Fire drops, that will surely be it. King now next on the menu. He gets locked up to chain CC. A last desperate stand for Triple. Oh, Chippy's trying to get something in the background. Maybe they can get Fat Fabulous. But it's just a consolation prize, Spawn. In the end, Supermassive. 5-0 in the group so far. May just make it 6, but first place already locked.
And whilst it hurts as an Oceanic fan, sometimes you just got to sit back and you got to watch teams like the Gigabyte Marines, like the TCL Supermassive, come into a play-in stage and absolutely dominate. And this team now 5-0, looking for that perfect group run. And you know, we can be optimistic, but realistically, no one has gotten close to them. They just look like a cut above the rest.
Absolutely dominant, Spawn. We heard it from the regional representatives. They're already thinking, hey, we don't feel great about Flash Wolves. They're not worried about Dire Wolves. They're not worried about Rampage. They're not worried about Kaboom. They know they've got this in the bag, and they prove it here.
Absolutely. And if you're Evos, or if you are the Flash Wolves right now, you know what team you do not want to play.